Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an author, speaker, and proud father. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. The provider man isn't the most spectacular. Now, ladies, you know what? I pay attention what y'all saying. Now, yeah, we know you want those sexy fine guys. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Shit, men want those sexy fine women. Fair exchange ain't no robbery. Got no problem with it. But we also know, I want that provider type. You know, even for some of y'all ladies making your own money, you still want that guy who making a little bit more. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. But see, here's a funny thing I find with many women looking for that provider type. They skip over a lot of times the guys who are most likely to be provider types, right? Because they ain't the most spectacular. Right? You know, and there was a book, and I've mentioned this on my men's channel. It was called, and this was specifically in the Black community. But let's just be clear, this applies to all communities. Let me be clear on that right now. This applies to all communities. But this book was focused on the Black communities by a gentleman named George Saburo. And it was called Money Issues in Black Male-Female Relationships. I've referenced it many times on my men's channel. And one of the most powerful things he said in that book is women tend to look at boyfriends and husbands differently. Like the boyfriend needs to be that guy who provides excitement. You know, when you dating and everything, shit, you want excitement. You party, you want excitement. You know, doing your thing in the bedroom, you want excitement. Okay, we get that. But then often when that boyfriend become a husband, the woman ready to roll, or the woman gets somebody totally different when she ready to marry, totally different from the boyfriend. Why? Because the husband has to do he can't be partying and all. He got to be the responsible one, right? He got to be the responsible one. Now, see, let's put that in real terms in the real world. Now, even on the boyfriend-husband thing, a man who has a steady job, he can be a type who wants to have fun and everything. And, he parties, during his free time, but most of the time, he has to work. Most of the time, he's trying to get that money. He's trying to provide, right? Now, I remember years ago when I was still married, my ex-wife, now co-parent, she was part of a group of women called Mocha Moms. It's a nationwide organization of primarily Black women who are stay-at-home moms, right? Stay-at-home moms. But in order for them to be stay-at-home moms, they had to have husbands who, or at least baby daddies, I'll just say husbands. I ain't even gonna get into that other stuff. They had to have husbands who had to work 2 and maybe at least 2 jobs. Because the chapter my co-parent was in, the president of it, her husband had maybe 3 businesses. He stayed busy, right? And you had other guys, they were hard working. I mean, minimum 40 hours a week. Only thing is, when you steady like that, when you working, you don't have time to be spectacular. You have to have a certain steadfastness. You had to have a certain steadiness to stay on a job. Because let's be real, most jobs, unless somebody's doing something in the entertainment field, which is rare, let's just be real, it's rare. Most jobs are like monotonous. They steady, same thing day in and day out, especially a lot of, regardless of what it is. It's like, there might be some slight difference and some slight variations, but it's basically the same thing day in and day out. The type of man who could stay on that type of job, he got to be more of a steady Eddie. He can't be that flashy type or the mainly party type. Now, just to be clear, that don't mean he can't do those things, but dude may be working. If you talk about, okay, if you working 40 hours and then you got to put in maybe another hour for lunch, so that's 48, and then time driving back and forth, depending on where it is, it could be anywhere from 50 to 60 hours, and that's just for a 40-hour week. And you doing a lot of stuff, and then you still expected to do stuff around the house, keep it straight, cut grass, all that stuff, and then, he might need to, spend some time, if you got kids, you got to spend time with the kids. Shoot, he got to be steady Eddie. He ain't going to be spectacular. He ain't going to be that party type that just want to, keep you entertained, But that's a reality. But see, because he's like that, he usually have those traits before you even get together with him. Now remember, let's go back to what I said about the boyfriend versus husband thing. Ladies, when you first meet a man, are you looking for that provider type right away? Let's be real. When you first meet a man, typically, you want that guy who's entertaining. Make you smile, look good, fine and stuff. Give you that feeling in your stomach. Put that smile on your face. Y'all more want that entertainer. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's normal. That's your nature. Y'all want that guy who's going to arouse you. Right? But then the steady Eddie might not necessarily do it. Now, even if he look good, even if he physically look good to you, and has a good sense of humor, he's got to be more on the serious side because he's more of a worker. He got to be a steady worker. Now, like I say, he can still have a good time and everything, and you probably have a good time with him, but it might not be what he presents at first. He might not be that spectacular. Because one of the other things, too, he might not be that type who can wear, like, the fly clothes and stuff. Because he, if he's a provider also got to manage money. A provider also has to think ahead. He can't be that guy who blows money. A true provider got to make sure he keeps the basics. So that true provider know he got to keep that car running. That true provider know he got to keep that roof over his head. That true provider know he can't be spending his money crazy, Also, that true provider know, he might not be one of those fitness model type or bodybuilder types, but he need to keep himself in decent shape, right? So, you know what? He ain't going to be the most, he going to be the steady Eddie. He might not be as flashy. He might not stand out as much. He might not be able to get that fly haircut every week. He can keep a decent haircut, but maybe not fly because he got to work. So he isn't the most spectacular. But a lot of women look past him until women get typically older and more experienced. But then there's some other stuff that can happen there. And I ain't even talking about the wall. Like, you might not be as physically attractive to him, to be honest, or, something. So that ain't even just the wall thing. So believe it or not, it sounds close to it, but it ain't that wall thing, which just for the record, I don't really get into that, but I'm talking about what other men look at, right? But yeah, he ain't going to be the most spectacular, but he might be just the right guy. When you talk about a provider, and you might have to focus on that steady Eddie. And you know what? Sometimes if a woman does, she can actually go far. It's a lot of women. I'm tell you what, ladies, that steady Eddie. When I say steady Eddie, he ain't necessarily born, but you have to get to know him, and you get to know him. He might surprise you. But a lot of times, since he ain't spectacular, he doesn't have that image. A lot of women don't bother to try. But he ain't gonna be the most spectacular. But get to know him. You might find out. He might surprise you. He might be the one, he don't party that much, but when he does party, he parties hard. And he's very entertaining when he get a chance. So always understand that. So anyway, ladies, that's all I have for today. I'll talk to y'all. Peace.